everybody.
Hey guys,
Welcome back to our channel. I'm Elizabeth.
I'm Dominic, and we're Elizabeth and Dominic of DL Cruise Travel.
That we are. Today we are going to talk about the Carnival Horizon.
Yeah, and just our thoughts on the ship. We just came back, well not just, we've been back for about almost a month and a half, 2 months now from the Carnival Horizon. Did the last Mediterranean sailing out of Barcelona. So we're just here to talk about our thoughts on the ship, what we liked,
What we maybe didn't like, what was different from the Vista.
Yeah, so this video is just going to talk about all that stuff. So The first thing that we want to talk about was the Sky Ride.
Yes, I loved this. I mean, I loved the Sky Ride on the Vista, but I think the biggest issue was the line took forever.
Yeah, and to alleviate that line, did you notice that they actually did not make you wear an additional harness? So now when you go up to the Sky Ride, all they do is strap you in and you go. And it speeds up the line.
Oh my, so speeds up the line. It makes it so much quicker and so much easier. And it's exactly what we said on the Vista. Like, literally my mom and I discussed the fact that we didn't know why they were harnessing us in, that all they needed to do was put seatbelts on.
Right.
And we never felt any more secure on the Vista versus any more secure on the Horizon. Felt just as secure, and it was way quicker. Like, we were probably, 20, 25 in line?
Yeah, yeah.
And I bet you on the Vista we would have been in line for at least an hour, and I think it took us 15 minutes.
Yeah.
So it was way faster, significantly faster.
They got rid of those harnesses that always cut into your legs in the middle. It just always made you feel almost uncomfortable, but not.
And they were never very flattering for the shots. Not that my shot on, they take your picture kind of like being on a roller coaster. They take your picture when you're riding on the Sky Ride. But mine was maybe my suggestion is put your legs down as it says you're approaching the camera spot, because mine was up in the air, and I was like, ooh, I look like I'm about ready to give birth. So needless to say, that one did not come home with us. But
so the next thing we liked about the ship was the new Guy's Smokehouse and Brew House Pig and Anchor.
yes.
They kept the Pig and Anchor on board. That's outside still, but the Smokehouse Brew House was phenomenal. The drinks, they had new drinks. They had a bourbon Cosmo with bacon, which was awesome, because anything with bacon is awesome. I don't care what you say. You can do this all you want. It's still awesome.
I don't mind bacon, but it doesn't belong in my martini.
Oh, yes it does.
But the beers, oh my gosh, Colin, thumbs up, 2 thumbs up,
4 thumbs up.
4 thumbs up,
4
8 thumbs up. The 4 beers, let's see if I can remember what they were. They had the smoked porter, which they took actual smoke from the pit.
Yeah, the smokers. They had
the smokers. That's
actual
the word I'm
onboard
looking
smokers.
for. And it tasted like smoked beer, which sounds weird, but it was delicious.
Absolutely delicious.
And they had an amber, right?
Yes.
Which was really good, and an IPA that was really good.
They were all good.
And the other one was a wheat, I think.
Yes.
Very good. And I liked the atmosphere. I liked the setup of the Pig and Anchor. It was really nice. If you've been on any of the ships with a Red Frog pub, I love the Red Frog pub, don't get me wrong, missed it. But I thought they did a really good job designing the Pig and Anchor with the fact that they brought the bar more towards Ocean Plaza. So you could, it was way more visible to people walking by, and you could really sit up there at the bar and you could watch people by, you could say hi to people that you knew.
Yeah.
And it was so much more open to Ocean Plaza than the Red Frog pub ever has been.
Yes, very definitely. And what I'll do is I will actually list the beer flavors now, and you will see them flashing under the screen.
Yes,
right
we did
now.
a brewery tour, and that was awesome.
Yeah.
Well worth the money.
Well worth the money. Colin, the brewmaster on the Horizon, was the brewmaster on the Vista, is absolutely amazing.
Very knowledgeable about beer.
Yes.
And very personable, willing to answer any questions. Really encourages you to chat him up when you're in the pub house.
Yeah. And he has a Facebook page, Colin the Beer Animal. Go check it out if you like beer.
But yeah, as far as the food at the Pig and Anchor, huge portions and really affordable prices. I know there's always talk about should these cruise lines be charging all this extra money and stuff, but I got a flatbread with meat and barbecue sauce and stuff on it, and I think it was $5 or something like that. And it was huge. I couldn't even eat it all.
Yes. Yes.
So
The dinners
it's
were amazing.
not expensive at all. It's well worth the price.
The appetizers were amazing, and from what I've heard, the trash can nachos are not to be missed. So if you get on the Horizon,
We had those.
oh well, I didn't have any, but the trash
They
can
were
nachos
good. We had them
are not
like
to
the
be
last
missed.
night.
Speaking of food, we're going to move our way up to Lido. Oh my goodness, Lido Deck. They totally changed it.
They have.
Instead of having like a buffet line, they have little serving tables in like quadrants. So there's like 4 of them, but they have all the same stuff.
And they run on 2 sides. I hardly ever stood probably in line more than like 2 minutes.
It helped the traffic flow. I really think it helped the traffic flow.
And the longest lines came from
The cake.
the cakes. At lunchtime on the Horizon, they've introduced these cakes.
Yum.
Yum. Very
Yum.
good. I always have kind of a long-standing joke that I think Carnival's desserts...
Cake.
I think Carnival desserts are gorgeous to look at, but they have like no flavor. Like aside from bitter and blanc and chocolate melting cake and room service chocolate cake is still delicious. They don't have any flavor.
And the Bon Voyage cakes. Bon Voyage cakes are good.
Well,
too.
yes.
Yes.
But those you have to order and pay
Yeah,
for.
and pay for it.
But like their lemon stuff would be super yellow and then have like no lemon flavor. I had a lemon cake that was lemon and tart and delicious.
Yeah.
The chocolate cakes were all chocolate to the 10th degree.
And as you've seen, I had it was a green tea checker cake. And somehow
Chocolate.
they checkered the cake. So
That's
it was
very
like green, brown, green, brown. It was like a checkerboard. It was just delicious. And you know that because I said it on the vlog and you'll see that.
I mean, there are definitely cakes that taste better than other cakes, but in general, we were really happy with the cakes. And it became very popular because, like I said, that was the only time we waited in a semi-long line, and even that took like 5 minutes.
We didn't even get the fresh ice cream or gelato that they serve.
The hand-spun ice cream we never got.
Every day.
Had it on the Vista, though, and it is delicious.
Yes. And, I mean, the cakes are so good, I want to go down to guest services and complain. Which leads us to our next complaint we liked about the Vista.
Why did you want to complain to guest service about the cake?
I didn't want to complain to the guest service about the cakes, but, you know, I had to throw a segue in there somehow.
Okay.
Anyway, yes. So we're moving back down to Deck 3 and guest services. Now, guest services on every other ship is just like desk. Now they've kind of took this out into like almost like you're at an airport in check-in areas or kiosks where you have there's about 5 or 6. And they have the platinum, the diamond, and then about 4 or 5 others. And the way they have it laid out, it just makes the ship feel more open and welcoming to everyone. So I like the change.
Yeah, it was very nice. Let's see, what else? Is there anything else in the lobby? I don't think so. The coloring is really nice on the Vista.
The coloring is they changed up the coloring, and the dreamscapes that we saw were just absolutely gorgeous.
And they changed constantly. Like, I think towards the end of the cruise, they didn't change quite as often. It was more like 2 or 3 a day. But for the start of the cruise, it was like, I mean, I tried on the Vista to take a picture of it every day because it was always like the same picture, or it might change different during the day and different in the evening. But the Horizon, like, I literally have like 30 pictures of the dreamscape, and I don't think I got them all. So
yeah, and they are doing the St. Jude's dreamscapes for St. Jude's, but they didn't do that.
Yeah, they weren't on there when we were over in Europe yet.
No, so they probably
I think that debut became kind of part of the naming ceremony in New York.
Right. So.
But the colors in the room were nice too. There are a lot of shades of like kind of deeper, richer blues. Very pretty. We liked the looks of the staterooms really well.
Yes.
We did see some on the Horizon Vista because we went on a cabin crawl. Yeah. We had a Havana room on the Vista, which Havana rooms are great. Love the Havana rooms. It was not worth spending the money in the Med. It was cold and rainy at the time, and you're at port constantly, so there was not, to us it wasn't worth it.
No.
But if you're sailing through the Caribbean and you got the money, you will not be sorry with a Havana room.
Havana, ooh na na, do do do. Havana, ooh na na, do do.
You go.
I'm Havana.
All right. Another thing that was different was the shops.
Yes, the shops. They were definitely
I'm sure you've all heard that they added Victoria's Secret.
Woo-hoo!
It sounds like Carnival's going to doing a lot more of these like branded shops. So Well, I loved all the inaugural Horizon gear. Like, they had a ton of sweatshirts and t-shirts and hats, which is what I think all of us have been begging Carnival for, is more branded stuff. But they like literally were these teeny tiny little rooms that were like the size of like a kitchen in like a standard size house.
Yeah.
And there were three, one was somewhat larger and then two really small ones. And the bigger one I think is going to become the liquor and the cigarette place.
Probably.
Once it got to the United States.
Because we're a bunch of alcoholics and we smoke a lot.
So I'm not happy that it sounds like the direction is going that they're doing these more branded shops, because I like the Carnival branded stuff.
Yeah, I agree.
I think it's nice quality, and it's just a good way to remember your ship by and your cruise by. So while I loved it on the Horizon, I will be curious to see. We're going back on the Horizon in October from Miami,
We'd like to
and I'll be
sell
curious to see how it is then at that point, what they have for branded merchandise.
Indeed.
What was that?
I said indeed.
Oh.
Yeah.
So what are some differences between the Vista and the Horizon? We already talked about the brew house.
One difference that I did notice, kind of going along with the brew house, is they got rid of the wind tunnel effect on going to the outside areas to eat.
Oh, yes. That
Now-
was a big complaint we had on the Vista.
Yes, because you'd walk out and it was like the air pressure difference. It was like, because we lived in the Minnesota, we had the Metrodome. So it was like if we walked out the Metrodome, it just kind of forced you out. It was a whole bunch of wind.
And because of that, like, you couldn't go outside on the Vista. Like, the big thing about the Vista was supposed to be, they were bringing dining outside. The steakhouse was outside. Cherry on Top had this outside area. But they were never open because they couldn't bring the food out and in because of the wind that was created. So they changed that up so that the wind, like you go out into like an area and then you go outside again, which is really nice because we actually got to enjoy our Cherry on Top outside. You could actually eat at the steakhouse outside.
Like, it's kind of like an airlock, on a spaceship. You go in, out of
Yes, because a lot of people have spent a lot of time on spaceships.
Yeah. But kind of like an airlock where there's a separate room that you go in before you get outside, so it doesn't create that vacuum effect.
What else was different? Oh, they don't have an art gallery anymore on the Horizon. It's the only Carnival ship that no longer has the art gallery.
Nope, they turned the art gallery into Mr. Radu's photo gallery. Now,
Yes.
if you follow Carnival or John Hill's page, every day when he posts the background
Cover story, yeah.
on Facebook is a shot by Mr. Radu, and he's an amazing photographer.
They say 90% of the pictures that you see, 90 or 95% of the pictures that you see on the Horizon were probably shot by Radu.
Or Peter Gonzalez, which is another amazing photographer, but he went on to do bigger things. Bold Man in the Sea Productions. Follow them too, they're awesome. Anyway, I digress. So, Mr. Radu's photography hallway. Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
He does take cool shots, and he's got them all on metal pictures that you can buy in different sizes and different styles. There's collage ones, single ones, and he's got hundreds of pictures that you can choose from. Now, he was actually honor sailing, so I'll be curious again to see what that's like in October, if they still have it. If they have it and he's just not on there, if he's still on there, we'll see. We'll fill you in when we come back in October.
Yeah, we will.
What else? Oh, they have Bonsai Teppanyaki on the Horizon now.
Yes, they do.
We did not eat there.
No, we did not.
But everybody that we know that went, it was always busy, and everybody really had good things to say about it.
Yes, another thing they did with the piano bar is they actually added a door into the steakhouse to make the steakhouse a little bit kind of more intimate. They
have two pianos entertainers.
Yes, they have one specifically for the evening hours while the steakhouse is open, and about 9:30, 10 o'clock, about 9:30 I think it was every day, they close the door and the piano bar entertainer takes over. So they separated the piano bar and the steakhouse, and you don't get the piano bar noise. It's a soundproof door, so as the piano bar is going on, if you're still enjoying your dinner in the steakhouse, you don't hear the piano bar.
Yeah.
Awesome concept. I like it. Kind of live, jazzy, serenading music while you're enjoying your nice, juicy surf and turf in the steakhouse. I think we should go.
We did not go. Did we do any specialty dining?
No, but we should go.
Well, maybe we will.
Maybe we will.
We did go to the piano bar one night.
Yes.
Eden Parker was very good, and we hear he's from Minnesota. So cheers to Minnesota.
Woohoo!
Every place was always packed. Piano bar is kind of to me like the comedy club. They could build it twice as big and it would still be packed.
Yes.
Speaking of comedy,
this is the one cruise that we did not even step foot in the comedy club.
We didn't.
It was so busy.
We were busy. We were tired. Stop cracking
Right.
your knuckles. Sorry. We were on a very port intensive trip, and we spent some of our ports of call were 13 hours long, and it was just go 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 go. I don't know that I stayed up past midnight any night of the cruise except for the last night.
No.
He did go to what they do now, because of the fact that when they initially designed the Vista class, the plan was to have the nightclub in the same area as the main theater lounge. But I don't know if they were getting noise complaints.
Noise complaints, yes.
From the cabins nearby. So what they started doing is they moved the nightclub to the Limelight Lounge, which is where comedy is. But because of that, it kind of boots late night comedy out of the Limelight Lounge, which sucks, because I think late night comedy is like probably one of Carnival's most popular activities.
Awesome. That's very awesome.
It is. It's not for the easily offended.
No.
Late night comedy is not for the easily offended.
Or the rated R shows at all. But
You go to the family shows. They're funny too. But literally they have late night comedy, well, really it's adult comedy at like 5:30, 6 o'clock in the evening.
And the last show is over at like 9 or 9:30.
Yeah.
But, as she started to get into, on the Vista, the Horizon, and the Sunshine, they do a late night comedy show in the main theater, which we're about to get to the main theater, because that's one of the points that neither one of us like. But they do it in the main theater once or twice during the cruise, and it's a full hour where both comedians will do their full set. And that's the makeup for the lack of late night comedy, because they moved the club into the Limelight Lounge on the Vista class and the Sunshine. Now, the one thing I do like a lot about the Limelight, some people say it's too small on the Vista class ships, on the Vista and the Horizon. The Sunshine was tiny, but I think it's adequate size. I don't know, some people say it's too small.
I don't think it's awful. I mean,
there's enough room there.
it's tight quarters.
You can get in and still get a seat even after the comedy show starts. Sometimes.
Well, and that's what we can't really judge, is because the busiest comedy shows on most cruise ships are always the late night 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock shows, because the Horizon doesn't have that. It's hard to say. Right now they're at prime dinner time, so you always are kind of competing with people going to dinner, competing with people going to the shows and stuff like that.
Right.
So, but yeah, I think on our cruise they did the late night comedy 3 times.
Right.
I think they must, well, my guess is that they do it is whenever the comedians change over. On a standard 7-day cruise, you usually have 2 sets of comedians that are on when you start, and then halfway through another set of comedians show up. So I think they kind of do it, they probably do it a changeover day, would be my guess. So we had 3 changeover days because we had 6 total comedians, so.
Right, and 2 late night comedy shows.
Oh, was it only 2?
Yes. First the embarkation day, and then we had one halfway through.
Oh, I thought we had 3, but I didn't go to any of them. I was
Speaking of shows in theaters, the one thing that we both don't like is that they haven't changed the theater on the Horizon.
I think it was slightly better on the Horizon than on the Vista, but not a lot. But we knew that it's going to be the same. Newsflash, it's going to be the same way on the Panorama.
Right.
The designs of the ship are done. All we can hope is that with the XXL ships that they go back to having a nice grand theater, because I miss that.
Right, and the one thing that I understand the reason why is because they want the shows to be more crowd interactive, and we're getting to the shows because, oh my goodness, I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about the shows. They were phenomenal. But they want the shows to be more crowd interactive and have the playlist class in the lounge and amongst the people. So that's why they do it the way they did it, but maybe there's a way that they can make it better. So
I think there's a way they could combine both.
Right.
But
right.
It's just, as the vertically challenged people like myself, inevitably sit behind someone who's not vertically challenged, I can't see. Like, everything, there's not a lot of good sight lines. We did discover the seats back by the bar became our favorite place.
Don't tell them that. We'll not get them next time.
They're our friends. We have to give them the secrets.
Okay.
We did discover that the seats back by the bar actually became our favorite seats to watch the shows in. They weren't maybe the most comfortable if you don't like being on like bar style seats because they're high tops, but because you were up, you actually got to oversee all the heads and actually see the stage.
Yes.
So you'll notice if you watch our videos a big difference between, well, I guess we went back in and filmed Celestial Strings, but
right.
The first time we saw it, I was like, I can't film because my camera would be blocking people's views and stuff like that. I just don't think that's right to do.
From behind us, but yeah, the last...
I mean, you are allowed to film the videos, or film the shows, like, we're not trying to be sneaky.
Right.
You just can't have flash photography on, but because Carnival owns the copyrights, they allow you to film them.
Right, and, you know, just holding a camera up, and, you know, the person behind you is sitting there trying to watch the... So
it's awkward.
Yeah, with Celestial Strings, you notice that I did do some videotaping from the top floor. I think we did that after dinner because I just wanted to try to get a little bit of video for you guys to see. So, but every other show we did back by the bar. You know, it was a great place to sit. Now you know our secret. Just don't tell anyone else.
But I do think because of the layout of the theater, it probably works well. Yeah. So what I like. Now, granted, I didn't do late night comedy this time, but I do think because of the setup of the Liquid Lounge on the Vista class ships, it does work to be a comedy lounge. You know, I know there's disagreements of whether comedy needs to stay in a place like the Liquid Lounge, the Limelight Lounge, or if it should be moved to the main theater. And I personally, I know it's be nice to have the space in the main theater, and like the grand theaters on the older style ships, I think you lose that intimacy feeling that you want from late night comedy. But on the Vista class, the Limelight or the Liquid Lounge totally works for that.
I'm back, everyone. I had to get myself a Diet A&W root beer.
We're not sponsored by Diet A&W.
But maybe we can be.
We're not sponsored by anybody.
A&W for listening.
But yeah, so don't go on the Horizon expecting the Vista or the theater to be light years better than the Vista. It's just not.
No.
The shows, however, are phenomenal.
Yes. Celestial Strings. Soulbound and
what was the other one? Well, we didn't do our research before doing this video.
I can't remember it, but you'll see it.
We didn't go to Amor Cubana because we had seen it on
the Vista.
But
the other three were just absolutely amazing.
Why can we not? Oh, it was the kind of like soul 1920s, 30s.
That wasn't Soulbound.
Yeah, it was Vintage Pop.
Yes.
That's what it was called.
Vintage Pop.
But they were all really good. I mean, Celestial Strings is the one. It's kind of the new Flick. You know, everybody's heard about Flick.
Speaking of Vintage Pop, here we go.
And I love Flick. Loved it. And so Celestial Strings is kind of the Horizon's Flick, per se. It's like the one that everybody's talking about. And if you've been on Carnival ships lately, you know the string quartets that they have in the lobbies and the atriums all the time?
Yeah.
They're part of that show.
Mm-hmm.
And Vintage Pop also brings live music back onto stage.
In fact, I think all of them did.
Soulbound did not.
Yeah, I think they did. Wasn't the DJ part of Soulbound?
Nope.
Oh, was that Vintage Pop?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But yeah, so they were all really good. Definitely get there early.
Yes.
I think doors open a half an hour before the show, and I think on most nights we got there, about
a half hour before the show.
Probably, we got there probably like 15, 20 minutes before the doors opened.
Oh, so yeah. So it was
probably like 45 minutes to 50 minutes before the show started. But once we discovered those bar seats, we wanted to get there. And we never had a problem getting there.
That's yours and ours little secret now. Don't tell anyone else.
Wink, wink.
Yeah.
And I think the only other thing to really talk about, We didn't do waterworks. It wasn't really warm enough. Although some of the kids did enjoy it.
Yeah.
Not our kids. We didn't have kids with. But
No.
we saw people out splashing around in there.
We will
It's
have
Dr. Seuss themed.
We will have a kid with, but I don't think she'll go down it. But we'll see.
She's
Next
not
time.
hardly a kid. She'll be 13.
She'll be
but
13.
I'll go down it, and I'll bring my GoPro with maybe this time.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see. Oh, we also have GoPro Village of the Sky Ride,
Yep.
which is all in our browsing fit. Me.
Yep. So, the crew.
The last thing that we need to talk about is the entertainment staff, the CD, and the crew. The crew was absolutely amazing.
I mean, I think it's expected on the flagship. They always say they try to get the best of the best there, but they were phenomenal.
They were phenomenal. Our room steward, Subandri, he was amazing, personable, has been working. He told us all he does is new ships. And he's been working with Carnival, I think he said 15 or 16 years. And the cool thing about that is I have some clients that just got back from the first 8-day sailing out of the Horizon out of New York. He was their room steward. And they had mentioned my name. He was like, "Oh, Dominic Lacey, he was just on," and he just remembered. And you always hear about people saying that the room stewards remember you. You wouldn't think they do, but they do. And I guess maybe it was only 3 weeks or 4 weeks since we had been on, but still.
It's cool.
Yeah. You want to touch on our dining room team?
They were phenomenal.
Yes, they were. Ken Byrne was the maitre d'. He always seems to do...
the singing maitre d'.
Yes.
I'm sure we have plenty of clips of him, I'm sure.
Yes, we do.
The alchemy bars. I love my alchemists.
Yes.
She remembered us. Anna Maria.
Anna Maria. And then her coworker that was working with her on the Vista was actually in the...
Pig and Anchor.
Smokehouse Pig and Anchor, yeah. And she remembered us, too. But our dining room team... Our team head waiter had just got promoted that week we got on to team head waiter.
We were the first sailing as her as the head waiter, and you would have never noticed.
No, her team was that good.
I mean, we never felt rushed. It never felt like you never saw your waiters like some cruises lately. It seems like they're getting a little stretched on the amount of tables they have lately. But like we saw our main waiter and our assistant waiters, both of them, multiple times throughout the cruise because they were that efficient that they had time to stand around and talk to us.
Yes.
Which you don't get that a lot on cruises anymore, like you used to a few years back. So.
And the entertainment staff was awesome.
They're all future CDs. Mike Pact is the CD, and he's phenomenal. And he says he's got an entertainment staff full of future CDs, and I truly believe that. I truly believe that every single one that we interacted with, we will see as a cruise director.
Yeah. Lalani was awesome. She was from Canada. Then there was Kendall Fire.
Yeah.
She was awesome. You saw her a lot around. Then there was Jake.
Another Minnesota boy.
Woo! He didn't work for State Farm, but he was from Minnesota. He was awesome. And then there was Alex. Alex was awesome. Then there's
other
the bingo.
Aaron.
Aaron, yeah.
Aaron was awesome. All of them were, and I think some of them have already become CDs.
Yeah. One has actually got promoted when one of the CDs stepped down here just recently. I think it was Jamie D. He got promoted to her position, the Paradise.
So they were, it was by far probably the most entertaining cruise I've been on. Mike Pact
was everywhere. I met him the first day on the ship.
We hadn't even sailed away yet.
No, we were sitting in the smokehouse, and he had walked by, and he was like, "Hey, you're trying one of the new drinks already." I was like, "I sure am."
My favorite Mike Pact story, well, I have a lot, because he's a great cruise director, and if you ever get the chance to sail with him, consider yourself lucky, because he's phenomenal. But it was our very first port of call. We were in Livorno. And as per usual, rain reared its ugly head.
Yep.
But we had gotten back on the ship before we got rained on a little in Florence. But then we'd gotten back on the ship in Livorno before it really started raining. It kind of really started raining just as all the tour buses were coming back because we were probably only about a half an hour to sail away at that point. And all of a sudden we looked down our balcony and Mike is sitting there with multiple umbrellas running back and forth because there was like the ship was here and then the terminal building was there, so there was a gap where you had to walk outside, and he was running back and forth handing people umbrellas, not caring how wet he got. He was just running back and handing people umbrellas, and I thought, how cool is that? You never see a CD outside half the time in a port of call, let alone running umbrellas back and forth to their guests.
Yes. The other one that impressed me was when we were getting off the ship in Naples. We did a Carnival excursion in Naples, and he was down. Well, first he made me sing a line in the theater while we were waiting for our
we got involved.
excursion.
He's one of those cruise directors that makes you get involved. Not makes you. He just you feel so comfortable with them,
Right.
you get involved.
And if you try to volunteer people, you get involved, as you will or have or will not see. Well, you will see, but if you've seen it already, or you will see it by the time this video comes up, we don't know. But anyway, getting off the ship, he was like, I hope you guys have a good cruise. And you know, you don't see that type of personalization from all the cruise directors. You see it from some, but he was all over the ship. I don't know where he got his energy from. I wish I had it. Maybe I don't, because then I'd be like an Energizer Bunny. Like, I'm kind of like I'm talking right now. So,
Yeah, he's everywhere though.
yes.
Any of his activities were always jam-packed. His sing-along trivias that they're... A lot of the cruise directors are doing this now, where they do this sing-along trivia in the atrium. But his was always packed. His deck parties were always packed.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest issue we had was...
The one thing that I didn't like, and it is...
And it might just be have been a European thing just based on our port schedule.
Was that they always scheduled his sing-along trivias during late dinner. And guess what we had? Late dinner.
So we're stuck with either missing dinner and doing like an alternative dining, which we did do a couple times, or missing the sing-along. So then that was tough because we really enjoyed the sing-along, but we also really enjoyed dinner.
Yeah.
So, and it could just be because, you know, we had long port days, people go to bed early, maybe he wanted to do it earlier in the day as opposed to waiting to do it at like 10 o'clock at night. So that's another thing that we will be curious to see what it's like when we're back on the horizon in October.
Yes. Well, overall, it was a great cruise. We had fun.
Phenomenal cruise. I cried on the last day. I don't cry, and I cried on the last day because I was so sad to be going home.
Yes, I agree. It was just one of those that I didn't want to leave. I actually wanted to go hide in lifeboat number 8. But overall, it was a great cruise, though. We thoroughly enjoyed ourselves. If we could do it all over again, the whole Europe experience, we would. It was exhausting, but so rewarding. It was like, as Mike had said, like going back in the time machine, seeing the sights that you only learn about in history books.
You never think you're going to see in real life.
You know, Leaning Tower of Pisa, the Colosseum, the Trevi Fountain, which you really don't learn about in a history book. Pompeii.
History's important.
Dubrovnik, that's current history. You know, the civil war of Yugoslavia. So it was just an amazing adventure. I'd do it all over again if I could. I'm glad we got a chance to show you our adventures. I hope you like them. Stick around, there's more coming. If you want to see more, always give us a like, a thumbs up, a subscribe. You can find us on YouTube at DL Cruise Travel. You can find my travel page on Facebook under DL Cruise Travel. And if you ever have any questions in regards to your travel needs, shoot me a message or shoot Elizabeth a message. We'll be happy to help.
Yep, we had a great time. I mean, it really was a trip of a lifetime. And we had so much fun on the horizon. We got back and we canceled another cruise that we had booked for October, and we're going back to the horizon, and we can't wait.
We are. I'm looking forward to it. We can't check in yet. It's already paid off. I'm trying to check in, and I can't check in. Let me check in!
Wow.
I know.
Okay,
I'm okay. I'm okay.
Doesn't matter if you check in now or you check in the day before, we're still getting on that ship.
Yes, we are. We have
And it's called a ship. Let's take the time to talk about that. Cruise ships are not boats.
They're ships.
They're ships.
And we are going to cruise because we have our flights booked too. So, I mean, even if we have to stay on the street overnight, we're getting on the ship the next day.
And we're bringing his daughter along on her first cruise.
Yes, it will be her first cruise.
It'll be number 19 for me.
And number 14, 15, something like that for me.
So,
19 is a great number, by the way.
But we're rambling now.
Yes,
and as much as fun as that is, we'll let you guys get back to your regular scheduled program, whatever that may be.
And again, find us on YouTube, DL Cruise Travel. Well, you found us on YouTube because that's where you found us.
Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe. And again, if you're ever interested in booking a cruise or need travel-related advice, cruise-related advice, find me on Facebook, DL Cruise Travel. Take care. God bless.
Bye.
Bye.